Hi, my name is Claudia. I'm one of the artists featured in the Solid Gold exhibition, and this is my work, Heat and Time. So what you can see here are various pots. Some of them have been left green, which means they haven't been fired yet, and the rest have been fired to various temperatures, ranging from 150 all the way up to 1,280 degrees. By firing the pots to various temperatures, you can see the gradual transformation from clay to ceramic. So eventually this installation will be filled with water. The pots that are green and the pots that are fired somewhere between 300 and 600 degrees will start to break down at various rates. The pots that have been fired over 1,000 degrees, so over 1,000 degrees we refer to as bisqueware, and all the ones that are fired all the way up to 1,280 are stoneware. Those pots will remain, they won't break down. The bisqueware pots will leak and the stoneware pots will hold their water. So in firing pieces to various degrees or various temperatures between 150 all the way up to high fired ceramic, you're able to see how or if clay will break down back into the natural environment. So in doing this, we can actually see the impact that we have when we transform natural materials. It means that we're left with very durable and useful materials when we do, but we also have to be mindful of the objects that we are making and we're putting into the world, because once we fire something all the way up to 1,280 degrees, or once we take it past the point of no return, in which all of the water has been removed from the vessel, or all the water has been removed from the clay, it means that it can no longer break down. I'm hoping that when people look at this installation, they start to consider their impact, because once you transform clay to ceramic, you are left with an object that will last thousands of years. So today we're going to be learning how to make a small landscape vase. For this you will need a little bit of clay, either regular clay or air dry clay, about a fist-sized lump. You won't need too many tools, just a little bit of water, a sponge, a pin tool or something to scratch up the surface, and a little paintbrush. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to break off about 1/3 of your lump of clay, and you're going to roll it into a ball. It doesn't have to be perfect, just relatively smoothish ball shape. And then from there, you're going to start to flatten the ball a little bit. So just use the palm of your hand and gently press down. Try not to do it all in one go. Just gradually flatten it out a little bit. You might want to flip it over. I like to use this part of my hand. I feel like I've got the most muscle in that part of my hand, rather than using your fingers, and try and make it as even as possible, but if it's a little bit lumpy, it doesn't really matter. Next thing you're going to do is just smooth out any cracks. You might not need water for this, but if you feel like you need water, just dip your finger into a little bit of the water and rub it in until it disappears. So leave this to the side, and you're going to go back to the rest of the clay and break that into about 3 different sized lumps. So I've got one little one big one, and one medium one, and we're going to roll them all into a ball. Alright, so you should have 3 little balls like this. You're going to take your first one and make it a little bit taller by rolling it back and forth. So it's almost like a little fat sausage. And you're going to hold it like this. Take your finger and press it in. Try not to go all the way through. So feel with your finger, you should have a little bit of clay here. And you're just going to start rubbing the inside like this to make it nice and smooth, and also it's going to stretch it and make it a little bit wider. Okay, leave this to the side. And we're going to do something almost the same with your little one, except we're not going to make it into a sausage first. So you're going to press your thumb in like this, and you're just going to squeeze the clay around your thumb. Make sure you take your time with this, go nice and slow. Sometimes if you go really quickly, clay can start to crack. Don't try and stretch it out too fast. And just start pinching the walls a little bit. Put that aside. And this last one, we're going to do the same thing as we did with the first one, make it a little bit taller. You can even rub it in between your palms. And you're going to take your finger and you're going to wriggle it inside. And once again, rubbing your finger or swiping it around the walls to stretch it out a little bit. Okay, so you should have 3 little things like this. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to decide how you want to place them on the base, so you might just put them all next to each other. You might stack one on top of the other like this, which I think I might do. Okay, so decide where you want them, and you're going to use your pointy tool just to trace out where they are going to sit on the base of your vessel. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to scratch this surface up a little bit. This is going to help us attach the top of our vase to the base. You're going to do the same thing here. Add a little bit of water, not a lot, and you're just going to gently press and squeeze it on like this. And do the same thing to the other one. So it's really important that this is a really scratchy surface. It can't be smooth, because if it's smooth, then when your piece dries, it might start to crack and your pieces might fall off. So make sure you scratch both sides like this. A little bit of water, not a lot. And I'm going to put this one on top on a little bit of an angle. So same thing, just scratch. And just wriggle and press it on, be gentle. Next thing we're going to do is you're going to take the end of your paintbrush and just start to smooth out these edges. You can even add a little bit of clay here if you want. Then take the end of your paintbrush, dip it in some water, and you can smooth them a little bit more just by painting a little bit of water. Right, when you're happy and everything is nice and smooth, we need to add some holes so we can put a flower into our vessel. So take the end of your paintbrush and just slowly twist and push it through the top until you feel it go all the way through. Maybe wriggle it around to make the hole a little bit wider. And do the same thing your next one. Just twist and wriggle it around. And how you like to decorate it is completely up to you. So you might go over and smooth everything a little bit more with some water. You can wait till it dries a little bit more, and then you can start carving some patterns in. You can do this with a blunt pencil. You don't need anything sharp. In fact, if it's blunt, it's probably better. You could even paint it with some acrylic paint, or if you've done this with regular clay, you can fire it and glaze it in a kiln. So you can also use this technique to make a larger version. You just need a little bit more clay and a slightly bigger surface, a little bit of a bigger base, and you can make lots of these. The base can be any shape you want. You can make it long and skinny so it sits on your windowsill, or you can just make a little one like this, or even just a single vase.